And by that point, it was obvious that he was Porky Pigging it.
That's all, folks.
That's pretty much that's kind of what he said in a way. Do you know what the difference between Porky Pigging it and Donald Ducking it is?
One of them's shaved, the other one's got feathers.
No, for one of them you wear a little sailor hat.
Ah!
Got to wear a little sailor hat. If you're Donald Ducking it, you're wearing a little sailor hat, my friend. If you're Donald Ducking it, you are a classy half nude. You're like a firefighter's calendar for charity at the end of the year.
If you're Porky Pigging it, you got a weird corkscrew penis, and you should probably see a doctor.
That's true.
Get that straightened out.
That being the case, how do we know that Porky Pig isn't always hanging out and he's just turning his head around and walking around pretending that he's backwards?
Well, it is a little known fact that pigs can in fact turn their heads 180 degrees.
Like an owl?
Like an owl, but
in a way. The fuck is this show about? Oh, that's right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Big Damn Cast, nerdy news, geeky gossip, or whatever constitutes or equals both of them in this climate for popular culture. I am Chris. I believe in a thing called Love Johnson.
And I am a mighty princess forged in the heat of battle.
I am no man. Hello, beautiful boy. How are you feeling today?
I'm alright. You know,
in our state-mandated separation.
It's cold. I've been to work.
God, it is.
That's about it.
How cold is it at work? Because you were in sort of like your own space.
Yeah,
so there's no other bodies generating heat.
The warehouse is quite nicely climate controlled, so I don't really have to worry about that.
Oh, that's sweet,
it's just
sweet.
Cold in the mornings.
Well, sweet, sweet billionaire villain money is going to something at least. Yeah.
Because all I'm really doing is going from the house to the car, and from the car to the FC, and then from the FC to the car, and then from the car to the house. Like, I don't spend much time outside at all.
What are you lunching on at the moment? Are you a sandwich boy still?
Sometimes I'm a sandwich boy, sometimes I'm a leftovers boy. It depends. It depends on what there is.
Are there the facilities to reheat the leftovers?
There are facilities to reheat the leftovers, yes.
In your staff singular room?
In my staff. No, there's just less chairs, that's all.
This is where the staff avoid each other.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah.
But probably not enough.
I'm a cake boy.
Today,
boy. I had a sausage sandwich for lunch at like 1:00.
Oh, that's the life.
And then my meal whilst doing taxes and tech runs has been cakes, leftover birthday cakes, which is cupcakes. And
birthday cakes plural. You got cupcakes instead of big cake.
Well, lovely man Adam, aka the Muffin Man, brought around Costco muffins on Sunday, and then on Sunday night, Lucy cooked a blondie. But the blondie.
What was her name?
I said the same thing. I said I'm making a blondie, and I said, "What is her or his name?" And she contradicted by saying, "Their name is Blondie." And I was like, "You know what? Completely valid. Practice what you preach. Don't be so black and white. Absolutely." Yeah. Also, it is a cake, right? Good. Can I fucking eat the cake, please?
Can I eat the cake?
So
let me eat the cake.
Respect the cruller and tame the donut.
Yes.
And she it was a subterfuge blondie. It was a decoy blondie.
A decoy blondie.
Because it'd be my birthday the next day. She went, I've got you I hope you don't mind, I've made you a blondie for your birthday cake. Like, you were just having a blondie because I know how much you really like them. And I was like, I'm not, why are you apologising? I am happy for that. That is
I am okay with this.
A jubilant sensation. A jubilation, if you will. A hubilation, if this were the Grinch that stole Christmas.
A hullabaloobalation.
A hullabaloo river. I didn't sing Moon River, so we can't be sued. It was a decoy, because last night she surprised me with a plethora of iced cupcakes instead.
But where did she hide them?
Inside the blondie.
Ah!
Could you imagine? You cut the blondie open and all these cakes pour out. So I've got those cupcakes. I've got muffins, and I've got a blondie. And I think I might die, but it also will keep me fed for the next few days.
No, I think you should enjoy your cake.
I will bathe in cake.
What else is there to enjoy?
Exactly. Like, I'll be honest. I will be honest. In my early 20s, I was like, when I turn 30, I just want life to be cake and booze.
Yeah.
And I was being flippant, but now I'm like, it's actually the best outcome.
Yeah.
it is actually the best outcome. I've
There are
turned 30
worse
and I'm
ways
surrounded
of
by
spending
cake and
time.
Jack Daniels. I'm fine with that. I'm okay
Okay.
with that. So, yeah. So now that I'm in the 4th decade, what wisdom have you got for me?
There is no wisdom here.
Oh.
The thing
Was
about
that the true lesson?
The thing about getting older, Chris, is that you think you're going to know what you're doing at some point. And for everyone I've talked to, no one does.
Yeah. Yeah.
There are just some people who are better at pretending than others.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, that's our political commentary for the week, everyone.
yeah.
Yeah,
Indeed.
gag. Thoughts?
So, you remember those places where we used to go and watch films?
Oh, I think they were called the picture houses.
The picture houses.
Yeah, the speakies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The speakies.
That's what they'll call them when people sneak into cinemas
Yeah.
to watch films who've got the keys to an Odeon and they're just sneaking in to watch stuff
the
during a
keys to an
pandemic.
Odeon.
Here's a ticket for the speaky. Come on, Fat Sam's speaky. There it is.
Speak difficult. Well, we got a little.
Speak difficult.
We got a little. We got a little trailer for
Very good.
a sort of quiet independent drama that we're getting at some point this year, which we should have got last year, but was delayed because of the pandemic.
Yeah, because originally this was meant to be out just under a year after the previous installment, which was a pretty impressive window of release considering the amount of money on screen.
Well, yeah, and it looks like they spent some of that money having a lot of fun because Godzilla vs Kong showed its whole ass.
The 4th
in
installment
public.
in Warner Brothers Kaiju-verse,
Monsterverse.
basically. Is that what they're calling it?
It's called the Monsterverse, yeah.
Okay. Get there before Universal finally gets their shit together correctly.
Yeah, quite.
Well done, Warners.
It is, of course, a sequel to 2014's Godzilla and 2016's Kong Skull Island. Or 2017.
And 2019's
2019's Godzilla King of
Monsters.
Monsters.
So if you want to watch them chronologically in order of the story, folks, go watch Kong Skull Island, Godzilla King of the Monsters, and then this bad boy. But it also looks like it's because Kong and Godzilla are seared into the public consciousness. The shower scene of Psycho.
Yeah. They are movie icons.
Yeah, they're just people get the gist.
Yeah.
It looks like you don't need to have seen any of them to get this.
I mean, not like any of them have a particularly involved plot or narrative.
Kong's about people on an island and there's a giant ape.
Yeah.
The Godzilla films are about people running from a giant lizard or the things the giant lizard is fighting.
Yeah.
There's your plot. That being said, before we go into thoughts on the trailer,
Yeah.
where did we stand pre this trailer? Because I've still not watched Godzilla 2014 all the way through, and I know that I don't plan to.
I rewatched it again early on in lockdown, and I still like that movie quite a lot. There isn't that much Godzilla in it, but I think it does a really good job of sort of mythologizing him, and then when he does turn up, he wrecks some shit.
Lou was a fan of it, but she's a huge fan of the OG, the original, and what it means and what it represented and all of that good shit. Whereas myself, I grew up with knowledge of Godzilla.
But yeah,
but the only Godzilla
Godzilla
I really had was the American Roland Emmerich one, which ain't good, folks. But very meme worthy, and is incredibly confusing and distracting if you look away from the TV at any 1 second, because suddenly you're like, hang on, is The Simpsons on?
Yeah,
it's really, really weird. But yeah, so I the 2014 one for me, I was just like, oh cool, let's see how they pull it off now. Oh, it's not about Godzilla really. I'm not had a draw.
Well, it is, but I get what you mean.
It's from the ground level.
Yeah.
But I think I was, I don't know. Something about it's the Dead Island situation. The trailer told me one thing. What I heard about the film, I was like, oh, it's a different thing. Remember that initial trailer of the soldiers gliding down?
Yeah. That is in the film.
The clouds parting and landing on the back of this thing. I was like, oh, that's terrifying.
That is the climax of the film. Like, that is the beginning of the third act.
Yeah.
But, so, like, you weren't lied to by the trailer from that respect.
No, I think tonally that was the film I was thinking, and then Lucy saw it, and I was like, what did you think? And she went, well, they kill off the best actor in the first 15 minutes, and it needed just a bit more of Godzilla, because at the moment I feel like it was. She said she felt like Godzilla was held back too much. Like, do you know what I mean? There could be just more of him. Although she absolutely adores it anytime he uses his bloody atomic breath, including the bit where he like holds open the mouth of the bat thing and just breathes down his neck.
That's very cool.
Skull Island, I've really wanted to watch. In the before times, my brother said he'd lend me the Blu-ray.
Oh, you've not seen Skull Island?
Still not seen it, and I keep forgetting to search for it periodically on streaming services, because I know it's popped up on some for a bit and then gone away, and I've heard it's very nihilistic. Like, it's just, this is an ideal film for a kid who ever played monsters with their toys, where something would just kill everyone off and be horrible, and that's what it's about. It's
don't
like you like cannibals
to anyone.
You like spiders disguised as bamboo.
Yeah,
this is the film for you. And I'm like, okay, I'll get round to it.
It's good. It's a lot of fun, and it has got teeth, so to speak.
So that's the draw for me. I do want to see it. And then King of the Monsters, we were split on it, like pretty much down the middle.
I love King of the Monsters.
You adored it,
I
had the right opinion.
And again, having rewatched it like early on in lockdown when it was on Now TV, like, I still love King of the Monsters. It's so stupid, but it's just it just commits to the silliness and the sort of thunderous absurdity of all this shit that's going down, and I just had a fucking blast with it. And if Godzilla vs. Kong is more of the same, I am all the way in.
Well, I think that's where I stand, because I didn't enjoy King of the Monsters because I felt like it was finally giving us that big kaiju Power Rangers third act, like, punch up that my inner child was ready to watch.
Yeah.
But then kept distracting us with a really shit human storyline. And not in like this is getting in the way of the fun bits, as in why have they given this the airtime between the fun bits? This is an awful human storyline.
I don't know.
You've got incredibly capable actors delivering lines that feel like draft 0.5, never mind draft 1. That's just how I felt with it.
It worked well enough for me as connective tissue.
Yeah, I think for you, is it your that's where I top up my drink moments? Like, I'll listen to it. I'll listen to it, but I'm eating my snacks.
Like, it's no worse than anything you get in a fucking episode of 70s Doctor Who. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know. There's some pretty great incidentals between the monster bullshit moments in 70s Doctor Who.
It's better than anything in Ambassadors of Death, for example. You know what I mean?
Hey,
it's not like it's the fucking.
Right. Okay, I feel that this podcast has become too anti-Ambassadors of Death in the last year, and I have to say, unwarranted. There are much worse off storylines than Ambassadors of Death. That being said, I completely get what you mean
Yeah,
in terms of like, oh, can we get to the bit where we find out what the zombies in the spacesuits are now, please?
like it's not like
Does Liz have to be put in a cell 3 times in a row in this episode? Can we move on now? Yeah, I don't know. It's also the fact that I'm not like big on Millie Bobby Brown and stuff. There's some in the way where like the rest of the world thinks they're incredible. I'm like, yeah, I want to, yeah. They're very talented. I don't know. I just don't know if this role's showing off anything in particular that makes me go, I want to spend time with this character. Hence my slight reservation about the human storyline in this one. There's great cast members lined up for it.
It's all like a lot of the leads from King of the Monsters are returning. So, like Millie Bobby Brown. So,
yeah.
But again, I just liked that stuff a lot more. I mean, yeah, it was cheesy and yeah, it was kind of disposable, but everyone was kind of bought in.
Yeah,
like everyone knew what they were making. Everyone knew what Godzilla King of the Monsters. No one was pretending they were in like a prestige movie.
And I think it does have some of the most impressive scenes from like this genre in it. Like in terms of the execution and how they look when it comes to monster on monster fights. But this is where we come to the trailer for Godzilla vs. Kong, because I thought the fight against King Ghidorah at the end of King of the Monsters was kind of fun, but it reminded me of a hell of a lot, weirdly. The final act of Batman v Superman, because it was just so fucking dreary looking. It just looked so dreary. And I get it, monsters smash through buildings, there's going to be debris, there's going to be dust clouds, but I want to see the 3-headed thunder dragon getting punched by the thick lizard boy.
I felt
that's
like we
what
saw
I want to see.
Plenty of him. And also,
well, we're going to see more this time.
Oh, yeah, well.
Because I'm already, despite my reservations, this trailer tickles me in a very special, very basic place.
I mean, the fact that as soon as like the sort of fisticuffs begin, we get a sort of attitude-filled sort of angry hip-hop
Godzilla
track. I'm like,
rambles onto the top of a submarine water base, and Kong punches him in his tiny head.
And then the beat drops.
Which is weird to think.
And then we're like, okay,
Godzilla's head looks tiny compared to something. Well, and that thing is Kong's fists.
He's fucking bottom heavy, innit? He's got a lot of junk in his trunk.
And now we understand the game plan all along. This is why Kong in Skull Island was the biggest fucking King Kong yet.
But he's fully grown here, so he's bigger now than he was in Skull Island.
He's chunk boy.
He's a large.
The thing that has me excited, and you're right, the mixing of that music is superb. The thing that's got me excited is the shots of them in clearly what's going to be Act 3. In this neon cityscape. Like, no building is dull. Every building is a goddamn, like, Joel Schumacher gang member in a Batman movie neon-coloured nightmare.
Yeah, which makes me think
vibrant.
Which makes me think of Pacific Rim, and that makes me happy.
The first Pacific Rim, yes. Oh.
I mean, and again, the second Pacific Rim made me quite happy, even though it was a bit crap, because it was like King of the Monsters in that everyone knew exactly what kind of movie they were making. No one was taking it that seriously, and it was a lot of fun.
Giant things punching giant things?
Yeah.
Let's do the giant thing punch. Highlights. Kong punching Godzilla's tiny pea head on top of the sub.
Yeah.
Looks great. The fact the trailer is 3 minutes plus in length and makes you wait over a minute and a half to see the boys on screen together in the trailer.
Oh,
like the first half of the trailer is it's a Kong film. It's a Kong film. It's a film about King Kong. It's a Kong movie. What's that fin? It's a Kong film. The fuck is that in the water? It's a Kong film. Holy shit, Godzilla's here. Like, oh my god, look at it scraping its way onto the ship. I'm interested how that set piece goes, because if Kong's in the water, he's pretty screwed, right? Surely.
You'd think.
And it looks like there's some questing as well. Do you know what it's reminding me of a lot, actually? From the bit where you see Kong like investigating that bloody cavern and the handprint on the wall, and then him fighting a bunch of other sort of Skull Island sized beasties as well.
What's that?
It's giving me vibes from. Do you remember in the early to mid 2000s, the Kong animated series?
I do not remember that at all.
So it was in the same vein as the Godzilla the series,
Which was great.
which was amazing. For those who are a bit younger and everything, the late 90s, early 2000s saw sort of the natural evolution of the 80s, early 90s toyetic cartoons, where it was like, here's a toy and we're going to make a cartoon about it. Your Masters of the Universe, your Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, leading into all the knockoffs like bloody Street Sharks and Skeleton Warriors and all that shit. Like, that was, that's where that kind of went, and then petered out in the 90s. And then toward the end of the 90s, they started doing animated adaptations of films again, but not just any films. Films that were sort of not for kids, but could be watched by kids.
Yeah.
So, Men in Black, the animated series, which is fucking excellent. Evolution, which, again, Evolution's fine. Evolution is Ghostbusters 3, basically.
I like Evolution.
It's not as sharp, but it's really fun. And something Lucy and I quote often if one of us makes or hears a bird sound, as the other one goes, I think we've established that caw and tookie don't work.
Orlando Jones being excellent in that movie, yeah.
And nearly every time I use Head and Shoulders, I can't help but smile and think, this would kill a monster. So, this product placement could kill a monster. So, Evolution, the animated series, is great. And what made these shows distinct was that they were kind of scary and a bit gross. Like, the animation style was dirty to look at.
Yeah.
Men in Black especially, the body horror in that show is superb. Like, it's so horrible, and they get away with it because it's a cartoon. And like 3-4 years prior, Fox Kids are making sure that all cartoons remove guns and replace them with laser beams, and that their heroes can't punch anyone. Like, go back, folks, and watch Spider-Man the animated series from the 90s. Better advice, don't. But if you do, take a shot whenever Spidey punches someone. Oh, what's that? You're not drunk after 4 seasons? There you go. Because that's how they censored that stuff. It was really weird. And yet in the late 90s, there seemed to be the shift of, well, as long as the thing that they're hitting or that's exploding is an alien, then
we're all right.
That's fine. And it's like, okay, so evolution, people are mutating. In Men in Black, when they're transforming from aliens, it's not like flash of light and suddenly the disguise disappears. It's like they'll burst out and ooze into this new shape. They'll get shot by the noisy cricket and explode everywhere. Christ, there's a mini sequel to the film in the show where you find out that Men in Black the film was a film made and released to hush up rumours about the MIB and make people think it's just like a film starring Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones, whilst the real J&K deal with the return of the Edgar bug because it was based on a real case, and D'Onofrio reprises the role. It's weird.
Amazing.
But Godzilla the animated series came out of that too. It was a way to kind of apologise for the Roland Emmerich movie, and it did an amazing job because it basically brought like the world of Godzilla and its legacy into that context in a sort of DC, post-crisis reboot version of the Godzilla canon. So, like, Mothra shows up, Ghidorah shows up, Rodan, all of that appear within it. The characters for the movie are heavily redesigned and not voiced by their film performers. And the Godzilla in it is the baby from the post-credits of the 98 film. Which means at some point, a shady organisation, because of course, resurrect the corpse of the first one with cybernetic implants, giving that show its version of Mechagodzilla.
Sure.
They did some cool shit. Some of this bled over into the 2000s a bit, and one of those shows was Kong, the animated series. Which essentially,
I'm looking this up now because I've never seen this before. I don't think.
Essentially, it was a knockoff of the Godzilla animated series because it was team of explorers work together with Kong to fight ancient evil threats and temple creatures and poachers and actual fricking warlocks who are using these cursed things to. So basically, it was a Monster of the Week show where this team of humans worked together with Kong.
Yeah.
And it was pretty fun. Like it got a run on Sky One in the UK, and it was pretty decent. Like just action monster cartoon for a Saturday morning. And that's what this kind of reminds me of, because it looks like the humans are working with, or at least monitoring, Kong.
Yeah, there's a little girl who seems to have some kind of bond with Kong.
And also, like, the end of the last film, it's like Godzilla's defeated Ghidorah, and now Godzilla is the head of the monsters. Like, and that's how it's meant to be. And you see that he goes around the world fighting some, and the others bow to him and gather round and all this. And in the credits of King of the Monsters, you see a headline saying, like, Skull Island activity, seismic activity spotted on Skull Island. So you're like, okay. And it looks like the trailer's suggesting that Godzilla's doing the naughty. Yes. Godzilla, our hero from the last from the last Godzilla film, really, and that's kind of it. It is causing more destruction than they predicted, and they're gonna use Kong to fight it. Like, okay, sure, whoever wins, we go, oh fuck, but that's a lot of property damage.
Also, maybe they have a kind of feud, like Kong and Godzilla's species have fought before.
Yeah. So
there's some of that.
Okay. I'm excited.
Yeah.
And I'm in a way I'm surprised by. I'm surprised that I'm excited for it, but I think it is really is just to do with the fact that it looks like it could be so much fun. Maybe though, and I don't mean this in a put down way for it. Maybe I'm just excited because I haven't seen anything in a cinema for forever. I mean, the notion of maybe seeing this in a cinema is just making me very excited to see it. I don't know.
You say that, but I'm not excited about a lot of stuff.
As a rule,
so
I don't get excited about many things.
But this I could fuck with.
I could fuck with Kong, says Matt, lowering his trousers and Porky Pigging it for the rest of the show. It's dirty that. It's fucking dirty that, what you said there. That's filthy.
So it's out at some point.
It's out in the future.
Year. Probably.
Will we get it on demand in the UK, maybe? Do you remember how with Wonder Woman 1984 we got, like, no news or guidance, and then it just appeared on, like, Sky and Now TV and Amazon to rent one day without any warning. It's like, I guess we can rent it now.
It was released in cinemas over here over Christmas, but none of them were open.
Yeah, so
if you did live near a cinema that was open, you could have gone and seen it at the cinema, and then you would have been in a cinema for 2.5 hours going, I could do with pausing it and making a brew now. Because
talking to my partner about the fuck is this movie? What's it doing? I don't understand. I don't get it. I'm still reeling from that movie. I'm just like, what was it about?
It'll come up again later.
Boy.
So I guess the only thing left to do now is to do our weekly WandaVision watch.
Yes. Oh, episode 3.
Spoilers.
3. Spoilers for WandaVision episode 3, aka the one where the show went, oh yeah, we should probably start to explain things a little bit.
well, explain's a strong word.
Very true.
But imply more of what's going on.
This week we're in Brady Bunch territory, early 70s vibes. It's about a family. Wanda's pregnant and Vision is like getting nervous about the babies. More so than Wanda, because it seems that she's pregnant at an accelerated rate that over the course of the episode gets quicker and quicker and quicker.
It's a day-long pregnancy, essentially.
Yeah, it's your standard sci-fi superhero wacky alien comedy trope of, oh, she's pregnant. Oh, the baby's due today now. Oh, what are we going to do? And, you know, it feels very familiar, not just in the way it looks. I loved the painted backgrounds in the driveway. The matte paintings that were obviously matte paintings, very much like the studio
really
stuff
good.
from that time. In opposition to the 60s and 50s stuff where they would film outside and they'd do exterior stuff and cut it together. In the studios, they're just like, the 70s, they're like, it's easier and cheaper to just build the driveway in the studio. Let's just build the driveway in the studio.
Yeah.
Which gave it another look. Like, it looked more like it was grainier, sort of a filmier vibe. It was the first episode in full colour. The moment she was like, yeah, when little Tommy comes around, I was like, they're not. They're not. And then Vision's like, I was thinking Billy, William.
They are.
I was like, they're fucking going there.
They are.
Young Avengers fans, rejoice. Rejoice, for Speed and Wiccan exist in the MCU. They are here. They are real. And I can't quite fathom it. Well, are they real? Yeah, but are they real? That is the question. They've at least been name checked. Because Wanda gives birth to twins again in true comedy trope fashion. One comes out, they all settle. Oh yeah, and then she's like, no. They're like, oh no, there's another baby. Oh, what are we gonna do? It's all sitcom ahoy. Like her contractions are causing her to sort of warp reality in tiny little ways, like the sprinklers going off in everyone's house, and the stork painting in the nursery comes alive and gets up to animal shenanigans. And aren't we having a gay old time? Isn't this lovely? And then she mentions that she was a twin, and she mentions that she had a brother, and that's when their neighbor goes, he was killed by Ultron, wasn't he? And suddenly everything just went real fucking tense. Well,
there's a wonderful moment earlier in the episode where Vision's explaining something, and then it just snap cuts back to the start of his conversation.
He starts to sort of talk about things are some things aren't quite adding up here. And he's not in like a, where am I? He's in just like a, don't you find it odd that this, that, and the other, and la la la, and la la. Don't you find it odd that no? Oh well, at least with just like, well, hang on, did it just cut back 20 seconds?
Yeah.
And then there's Lucy as well when we were watching it. Noticed there's a couple of other bits where it just sort of flash framed something else very briefly, as though there was a cut in the frame, sort of emulating some choppy editing that you can see slip through the net in some studio programming from the 70s.
Yeah.
But it was like, I wonder if anyone's freeze framed those bits just to see if there's not something else in the frame.
I'm going to check.
Because, oh good lord, that was eerie. And again, it's Paul Bettany's delivery. It's just so freakish. Because in that shot, you don't even see Elizabeth Olsen.
No.
Like, it's from over her shoulder. So they don't even, like, it's not even like we have an end of episode 2 moment where she goes, no, and everything reverts back to a couple minutes earlier. It's like, Wanda's doing this. Wanda, or at least Wanda's powers, are in charge of what is happening. Oh, God. And the implication that maybe all the neighbours, the co-stars, like, you know, who looked down the barrel of the camera when it cut to the cutaway with Emma Caulfield and her mustachioed husband, and he delivered his punchline down the barrel of the camera, which is a trope of these sitcoms for cutaway gags. But it was just sort of like, now, after the stuff toward the end, I'm like, is that deliberate for a different reason? Is that where we're going with this? Because you have the neighbour, he's trimming the hedge, and then he gets to the stone wall, and he just keeps trimming down. Just keeps on trimming. And then he and Agnes later on are saying to Vision, like, I'm trying to remember the name of the character that Wanda's with. And we know it's
Geraldine.
Geraldine. I was gonna say we know it's Monica Rambeau, but like when Geraldine is, they're like, she's not in there. She's like, she's just new in town, and you know she's no partner or kid. And Vision's like, well, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, yeah, it's just no home. And you just sort of like, what does... Okay, what... Huh. And it makes you wonder whether or not they're parts of Wanda's subconscious sort of trying to signal that this isn't right, or whether or not they're also in there for a reason, or they're being held hostage there.
Yeah,
the end of this episode suddenly made you think that maybe the villain of this has been here the entire time.
Maybe.
And our fondness for these characters is blinding us to the notion that maybe this isn't a show about someone doing something to Wanda. Maybe this is a show about Wanda making a very bad decision. Elizabeth Olsen was terrifying in the closing minutes of this.
Yes, she was.
Really freaking scary. Because she leads to it. Like, she has a moment where she she suddenly reminisces about Pietro, and she starts singing a lullaby to her children in Sokovian.
Mm.
And that's when what's her guys again called? The neighbor. What's her guys?
Geraldine.
Geraldine. That's not Geraldine. And that's when Geraldine starts to probe, and it's done in her delivery is so good because it's done in that way where like you're trying to be very gentle with maybe like someone who's gone through trauma, and you're trying to sort of talk to them, but you don't want to, just outright state something. Really think it's just sort of like your brother was killed by Ultron, wasn't he? Like that kind of like, isn't that right? And that was because then you kind of saw Olsen's face go from that like, yeah, the fuck did you say? Like the transformation into like, we don't talk about that. And she's like, oh God, this was great. This was really uncomfortable to watch. All culminating in her expelling, quote unquote, Geraldine, and the aspect ratio of the whole thing changing.
Yeah, between this and The Mandalorian, Disney are having some real fun with aspect ratio changes. And, like, using them in, like, interesting ways.
Yeah.
As opposed to something like Dark Knight, where it just changes.
It just happens, yeah.
And it's like, this was in IMAX, full frame, and now it's not. But yeah,
it's kind of nice that this one was done, it's diegetic as well. It's like, we want you to notice this as we shift into Westview in the real world, which appears to not even be a town, or maybe a town that was there and now is surrounded by these devices that Geraldine gets launched out of before presumably sword, which again, like, there's a giveaway. She's wearing a necklace with a sword in it, and Wanda spots that and is like, who are you? It's like, oh shit. As the all the men in black and all the vans rock up to monitor the situation, you're like, the fuck. I think where do you stand on what you think might be happening at this point? Because I think we were kind of on track last week with where this could be going.
I think if sword are involved, I'm gonna say that Wanda's messing with some alien hoodoo.
Hoodoo?
You do.
Do what?
Remind me of the babe. So
I saw my Wanda.
Hence the involvement of sword.
Yeah.
And it's sort of, she's not quite in control. So I'm not how much of the sort of, and how that's affected other people, I think remains to be seen. But I think maybe it's some kind of alien
influence or
fantasy machine that sort of is turning itself back, turned her own sort of powers and fantasies back on itself, and these other people have got trapped in it somehow.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Yes, that is. Oh God, the whole thing's so fucking freaky.
Yeah,
and it's a lot of people be like, "Oh, shut up! It's really softcore." It's like, yeah, because this is like introduction to freaky, weird, trippy shit for kids.
Yeah,
which is kind of making it extra creepy because it's like, a kid's gonna watch this. These things make you feel quite safe and comfortable. Not today. We're not going to let you feel comfortable today. We want you to be unnerved when this stuff happens. We want you to be unnerved when the music subtly shifts pitch downwards and sort of warps ever so slightly. The use of Daydream Believer was excellent. Obviously, it's sort of, we got a taste of that in the trailer, but the way it was used at the end of this. How to make the monkeys creepy. Step 1. Like, here it is. It's like, oh, God.
Just pitch everything down a semitone.
Another Hydra reference in the advert as well.
Yeah, there's lots of Hydra going on. There's... So they're probably involved somehow.
Well, it's because it was talking about like unlocking your potential or whatever. And it's like Hydra, Strucker referenced last time. Hydra were the ones to experiment on Pietro and Wanda and bring powers out of them.
Also, it's the same
because that's the whole idea, isn't it? It's like
the
power in them that the Mind Stone like has
I think that's the implication.
developed, which is not unlike mutants, which Marvel now owns. So the idea of it, like, everyone has the X gene, it's just more prominent in others and mutates into something.
I also think it's interesting that it's the same two people in the adverts every time.
Yeah, that's really eerie. I think they're part. If they are indeed trapped, then they're just a part of it. Like they're a part of this thing too.
Yeah.
And I kind of hope if everyone who's in there is real and is sort of being forced to go along with it, that we have some kind of horrid revelation at some point of where they're all kept when they're not on screen.
Yeah, that's...
Because the advert people only come out once an episode for like 30 seconds.
How much of an existence do they have, quote unquote, off screen?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, they must have some kind of... Because Vision interrupts Agnes and... talking, but they're
also in Vision and Wanda's drive.
Yeah,
they're in the vicinity of the action. Vision's there, so they're there now. But also, Agnes has the whole sitcom trope of the spouse you never see for the neighbor character. And what's to say that there even is a husband? What's to say that there isn't a husband? There is a husband, but they're part of this whole arrangement and they're locked away, or they're... I don't know. It's just the end of this has filled my head with the thought of like, oh shit, is Wanda the antagonist? The antagonist of this show? Is that where we're going with this?
I think it probably is where we're going.
Wanda's actually Wanda's the villain of the piece, being manipulated by something else. And...
Yeah, I think there's definitely some manipulation going on of her, or like a loss of control. But yeah, I'm just interested to see where it goes. Like, theorizing is all well and good and can be fun, but I just really want to see where it goes. It's all
speculation, folks, till we actually see a damn thing. But I've got to say, not many shows have made me want to sort of pick at them so much as this one has for a long time.
Well, it is, it's setting up a mystery. That's part of the appeal of it and part of what it is actually trying to do. Yeah, so I'm still enjoying it. And
your game, bruh. Your game.
Nice half-hour episodes so far, more or less. So decent little chunks of weirdness for a Saturday morning at the moment.
Fun chunks.
It's good times. Let's do some emails. We've had some emails.
Fun chunks. That's so horrid. Sorry.
Fun chunks.
Tasty fun chunks.
My favourite cereal.
Sorry.
Don't do that. We've had an email from the man, the legend, Tom Monty, for the first time in for the first time since the last time. So
was that Keeks laughing?
Yeah.
Or was that a fart?
Sometimes I make a giggle. Sometimes
I just heard her on my end, and I couldn't quite tell.
She makes me work for him, but sometimes I do get a little giggle out of her.
You work hard for the giggle.
It's either a giggle or a sigh, and I never know until the words finish leaving my mouth. So this one comes in from Tom Monty.
Tom Monty.
Yes. It says, "Dear Chris and Matt, I apologise for not writing in for a while, and so you should. I hope you both had a wonderful respective birthday and had lots of cake." Yes. I've had quite a rough past few months. Sorry to hear that, Tom. Hope you're feeling much better. But after listening to your Revolution of the Daleks episode, I felt a sudden urge to once again poke my head into the wonderful land of Big Dam.
Big Dumland.
Big Dumland. It's somewhere in Australia. I believe when I last wrote in, I was beginning my adventures in classic Whoo, and had just watched Tomb of the Cybermen. Since then, I have made it to the Sea Devils, so not much progress. Lol. It was a bit of a chore to watch, and I'm wondering if it's worth my time. I just really want to get a feel for each of the classic Doctors, and I've enjoyed all of them so far. Troughton probably my favourite. But it's just hard for me to get through with how dated it is. Don't try and watch them. We'll get to that. I think last time you recommended your favourite serials to watch for the first and second Doctors, and I found this really helpful. What are the best third and fourth Doctor serials from season 10 onwards that you would recommend for someone who doesn't want to watch Too much. I agree with a lot of what you said about Revolution of the Daleks. It felt a lot like Fugitive of the Jadoon, where Chibs forced way too much into one episode, and I think Captain Jack was completely and utterly wasted. The only Doctor Who related thing that I enjoyed over New Year's was the news that Whittaker will supposedly be leaving after Series 13. Boo! Questions?
Tom, not a fan then.
I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of that. The only thing I enjoyed was the news that she will be leaving. Or she might be leaving. Come on.
Newsflash, Tom and folks. That won't, quote unquote, improve the show.
No. Which to be fair...
Jodie's not the weak link in the current show.
Yeah, well, I don't think she's a weak link. Yeah, I know what you mean.
The actors can only do what they've been told to do and say, so... There we go.
Oh, so now we have to answer 4 questions about this speculation.
Oh.
Aren't we lucky? What were your thoughts on this speculation and how likely do you think this is? I got the impression that it's all but confirmed. I mean...
All but confirmed is not a thing. Because something is either confirmed or it isn't. Do you know what I mean? I know it's a turn of phrase that basically means like we're getting an awful lot of evidence that an announcement's on the horizon. It's all but confirmed, but it's like no.
3 seasons is about right for Modern Who. So it wouldn't surprise me, but at the same time,
I don't. Is she leaving, or is she staying? I don't care. Personally, I'd like more Jodie. That's my.
I would also like more Joe Martin. So,
well, that's suggesting that Joe Martin would be the next Doctor,
which I don't think she is, or would be.
I hope she is when the time comes, but I don't want to spend the remaining duration of Jodie's tenure wondering how that's going to happen.
I honestly
I would rather enjoy
really
more adventures with the 13th Doctor. I'd happily watch another 2, 3, 4 seasons with Jodie in the lead because I want to see what she's like with different writers and different combos
and different companions.
Yeah.
And also more 13 in Yaz, please. But like I maintain that the best way to give the show a kick up the arse and shake it up is to cast multiple Doctors and turn each season into an anthology show.
Yeah.
So you don't know which Doctor you're going to get from week to week.
Yeah. Well, when shit like the Radio Times exists, they're always going to be like,
well,
coming up in this week's one, we've got that.
But you know what I mean? You're not getting a season of one. You're just getting like cherry, or even have the companion be the constant, and then the episodes sort of be bookended with them being picked up and dropped off by different versions of the Doctor.
Yeah,
something like that. But have some sort of but not
like
have
a Charlie Pollard kind of deal.
Yeah. If it's true, do you think the BBC will not officially announce it till it happens, and we'll have our first surprise regeneration ever?
No, if it is happening, it'll be announced ahead of time because they have to do it ahead of time, and they have to get people excited for what's next and let people know and blah blah blah.
Yeah,
blah.
You can't keep it secret.
The only thing works. The only thing they could keep secret is who takes on the role. They couldn't keep secret that the regeneration's happening because they need the viewers. They when it comes to those last stories, they want people to know so that they all tune in. And based on the filming conditions, they could keep the next person secret. But at the same time, if they keep the next person secret, that implies it's somebody that everybody knows already because of level of fame or exposure or whatever, which kind of takes away from it because you're not watching a new Doctor appear. You're going, oh, it's such a body from that thing that I watched before. Yeah. And that's, you know.
If it's someone who's already like a huge name, then they might keep it secret for the surprise factor. If it's not someone...
for John Hurt. Work for John Hurt at the end of Name of the Doctor.
Yeah.
I remember like being in that room going, the fuck when that happened. It was a great feeling.
If it's someone like Joe Martin who's a recognisable actor but not necessarily a household name, then they kept that secret. But if it's someone of sort of like that level, that tier of performer, which it probably will be, then they'll announce it ahead of time to sort of springboard it and build a hype. Like the marketing, you can't get away from it.
Marketing.
What do you think the logistics of a departure will be? I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care if she's in the season 13 finale. I don't care if it's a Christmas thing. I don't care.
Again, personal hope, not that soon.
No.
Like, again, I want more of her. I want to see what she's like under different writers and different tones.
I mean, like I say,
exactly the same I was with Capaldi. I would have loved to have seen how he was under different writers. I would have loved it.
Yeah.
So yeah, never wish away something that you're excited about.
Peter Capaldi got Colin Bakered.
I think Jodie's been Colin Bakered a bit as well.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I think. Well,
I'd like to see her get McCoyed.
Yeah, that'd be good.
I'd like for the last 2 years to be some sort of elongated season 24 situation, and then the next series is 25, and it's like, oh, you can do this with this actor and these characters? Okay, that's good. Wasn't expecting that. So, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
As happy as this change would make me, I feel like I could only get truly excited about a new Doctor if Chris Chibnall left at the same time as Jodie.
There we go.
What do you think?
The
Likelihood of this is, well,
I don't dislike Chibnall, but I do wish, as weird as it sounds, 2 series in, he wouldn't write the opener and the closer. I wish he would plot the series and he'd write maybe a 2-parter in the middle. But my issues in the last 2 series, personally, like where I've sort of gone, all right, I've kind of been with the close of the series. And I'm just sort of like, oh, okay, sure. Like Ascension of the Cybermen and whatever the next part was, Timeless Children, like had their moments, but ultimately I sort of left them both being like, oh.
The problem I had with...
and absolutely with the Battle of Ranskor, Kalos or whatever, I was just like, I it's the most bored I've been in a finale of
I really
anything.
enjoyed that episode, but I get where you're coming from.
I was just like, this is the last one of the series? Really? It feels like part 1 of 2. Like, what's going on? I don't know. So that's my issue. Like, I don't want... Because I don't think it's synonymous, Tom. I don't think it's, if Jodie's leaving, then Chibnall's leaving. I'm not sure that's how it works, my old son.
No, but I think it is...
Because if Jodie goes and someone else comes in the lead, but the structural problems of the narratives are still there, then it's not like the next person's going to miraculously change the show. Because
I think it's not that I don't like Chibnall, because I think his ideas are sound, but I don't think his execution is always sound. I think it's like we touched on before. It's trying to shoehorn too many ideas into 2 spot time. Like the stuff in the Timeless Children, like sort of reveal that the Doctor is much older than we think they are. Is great, but the way they sort of do it with like the policeman framing device is just sort of
that then is never sort of resolved or explained.
Weird. And it never really kind of gels. But at the same time, Cyber Time Lords,
which was a great visual and looked really mental and strange, and
Sacha Dhawan, So it's you sort of take the rough with the smooth. And I think mostly I've enjoyed the Chibnall tenure so far more than I haven't. But there's definitely
I'll be
issues.
The same there. Yeah,
there's definitely issues. But when we've had those sort of gem episodes like Rosa, like Demons of the Punjab, they've been really good.
Haunting of Villa Diodati.
Yeah.
And Spyfall. I mean, I thought Spyfall was fucking spectacular. As like a series opener and a 2-part, it's like, that is impressive.
I also have a soft spot for Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror.
Me too! Thank you!
And not just for the title, although the title is superb.
Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror is one of those that feels like it could have been in any era of Doctor Who, and it'd work, and that's why it sort of works. It's very straightforward and simple and fun.
It's a great
it's fun
sort of Doctor Who story. So yeah, that's Tom.
It's good to hear from you, Tom. We thought we'd lost you into the mountains of madness.
We hope you're well. We're you know, it's not good to hear that you've had a rough time of it recently, but I think you need to let go of the Jodie Chibnall thing. Just let it. It's okay.
Just let it.
It's all right, Tom.
Go.
Just let it go.
I'm picturing you and Tom standing on a hillside overlooking the ocean. And he's holding on to a picture of Chris Chibnall, sort of
throw it,
holding in his hand and glaring at it. You're just like, come on,
just
Tom.
let him go. Don't let him.
Come on.
Don't let him rule your life.
And then you throw it into the ocean, and you both cry and you hug, and then we tell you to separate because you shouldn't be hanging out. You're not in each other's.
Yeah,
borders.
this would all be happening post COVID.
But to follow up on Tom as well, recommendations for the third and fourth Doctor if you were getting a Susan, a sampling. Well, Matt loves the Ambassadors of Death. Spearhead from Space, John Pertwee's first story is fucking great.
Season 10 onwards,
so
season
well.
10 onwards.
Oh, from season 10 onwards.
Season 10 onwards. Green Death.
Which one? Sorry.
Green Death.
Green Death. Sorry, yeah, you went quiet there. Yeah. I couldn't hear you. I thought maybe just
Green
teary
Death.
Just teary at the thought of Joe's final adventure.
Great story. Great.
The Time Warrior.
Time Warrior's pretty good.
So much fun. I mean, come on, Blood Axe and Iron Gron, get in there. It's great. Bloody watch it. And Sarah Jane immediately endears herself to the viewer. You're just like, yeah, I want this character to be around for a long time.
And Doc Cotton as a medieval princess.
Yes, of course. Planet of the Spiders?
No.
No? You're not? No? Alright, okay.
I mean, it's...
If you spread it out, if you watch it like one a night...
It's John's last story and all, but it's
Matt,
2 episodes too long, and fucking hell, those spiders.
Matt, there's 20 minutes where John just rides in different vehicles because it's in his last story he was like, you know, I got to ride 2 vehicles in the show, but I always wanted to ride more. And they were like, oh, for fuck, right in a helicopter, right in a hovercraft. Why are we riding in a hovercraft? Because John saw it at a motoring expo and he was really excited about it, so we have to write it in. True story.
He loves that shit.
He's so happy though. You can see him. He's fucking overjoyed to be riding all these things.
Also, Tom, I don't know if we mentioned this last time we talked about Classic Who, but if you're finding it hard because it's dated, do not watch them. Do not marathon them.
Oh yeah, no, don't. Yeah,
like,
if the dating thing is,
do an episode a night because that's how they were designed to be watched. And if you will notice the blow a lot more
if you watch them in one chunk.
If you watch them in one chunk.
During our marathon, for example, we even just we have a fast rule. The moment the cliffhanger finishes, we fast forward to the end of the cliffhanger at the start of the next episode.
Yeah.
Just sort of, because even that alone, if you're watching them naturally without progressing, that's you regurgitating a title sequence, a closing title sequence, and the same sequence.
Yeah.
Immediately, and it's gonna based on how long that cliffhanger is, because in some episodes, by God, they try and pad it out the next episode by playing the last 4 to 5 minutes of the previous episode. So yeah, scatter them out, my friend, scatter them out. As for Tom,
where
the hell do we even? I mean, Pyramids of Mars, City of Death, Genesis of the Daleks,
Robots of Death.
Oh, yes, Robots of Death.
It's so good.
Horror of Fang Rock.
Yeah,
is a personal fave. Oh God,
I think you can stop at City of Death probably.
Yeah,
unless you're a completionist.
Stop at City.
I like the Leisure Hive.
Yeah,
but I don't know if it's good.
I even maybe I'm an apologist. I like Warrior's Gate.
I've never seen the East-Based trilogy.
Ooh, okay. Don't rush. But don't rush. Oh, and Keeper of Traken. Keeper of Traken's fucking superb.
I love Keeper of Track and Logopolis, but I don't know if I'd point them out to as highlights.
I don't love Logopolis. I love Keeper of Tracken. I couldn't give a shit about Logopolis.
I know, but Keeper of Tracken feels incomplete without Logopolis to me.
Does it?
I think I just love Logopolis because it's so somber.
I guess I'm the kind of guy who'd watch Pirates of the Caribbean 2 and then not bother watching 3, despite the fact 2 ends on a cliffhanger leading into 3. I mean,
yeah. Well, this is the thing with Pirates. Is Pirates 2 is too long and doesn't have enough plot.
And then 3 has too much plot.
And it's still too long.
No, I get to the end of number 2, and then I'm like that bit in The Idiot's Lantern where Mr. Codley turns off the telly with Muffin the Mule. He's like, "That was great! It's like it was in the room with you." That's me at the end of Pirates 2. That's me. I've turned it off and I'm just gushing. I'm like, "Oh, wasn't that fun?" Right, moving on. Let's go hide your grandma in the attic.
So hell, I can't die yet. We've got another email to do.
Oh god. Well, Tom, there's some recommendations. If you want any more, like any specifics, any classic monsters, whatever, hit us up. Let us know, and we will guide you like some dirty little guides.
Brain and Morbius, though.
Oh yes. If you're a big horror film fan, like old school horror movies, Brain and Morbius is a fucking treat. It's such a. I mean, the opening 5 minutes, you're just like, this is Frankenstein. I'm watching Frankenstein. What's going on? What's going on? It's so good. Deadly Assassin!
You can just go through and any serial that's got Philip Maddock in it, you can put that on your list.
Yeah, okay.
In terms of recurring guest stars. Just like, yeah. Anything with Philip Maddock in. Okay.
Anything with Haddock in.
If you like your fish. This one comes in from James.
Oh, go on, I was going to see if I could segue it. Speaking of fish, James says...
James. This one's a two-parter. This email, because... yes. Asks a question at the end of it and then answers it by listening to last week's podcast.
Yes, no, James. Okay, hit me.
This is an email. Big damn men. Hello there, he says, first of all.
Hello.
This is an email containing WandaVision Ep 1 to 3 spoilers.
Well,
isn't this a fantastic way to properly kick off Phase 4 of the MCU? We have deliciously hammy performances, creepy hints as the direction of the plot, and a drunk artificial life form. I think you'll find, James, the proper term is a synthezoid.
Right.
Ep 1. This is some feel-good television. Through the whole episode, I was beaming until that moment. Love that first advert with all the meaning under the surface, which continues with the following 2. Ep 2. The first decade jump is executed perfectly. Everything is different. I never thought colour could be creepy. Some really tense stuff in this episode, but what steals the show? Paul Bettany when their works are all gummed up. That ending too. What is Sword's goal? To help or something more nefarious? Ep 3. The final part for now, and we're picking up from the end of the last episode in glorious Technicolor. Is it bad I missed the black and white? But that's not the only carryover. Children becoming. And the children certainly arrive, and quickly. The people of Westview seem more in the know than initially suggested, and it definitely seems like they're scared of Wanda, or maybe the truth getting to Wanda. The stuff with Geraldine / Monica brought some serious chills, as did the truth seeping in about Ultron and Pietro. Do we see Pietro? Vision seems to come back from the dead somehow. Could the powers that be surprise us with a twin reunion? We also get the biggest hint of what's really going on here, and it has me intrigued to see when we'll meet those exterior characters properly. WandaVision is truly something unique in the MCU. It's done something I've never seen before. Gotten my mum to watch MCU content by choice. Way! I can't wait to see where this goes and how it connects to future content. Have you viewed Wonder Woman 84 yet? Yes, we'll get that to the next part.
Yeah, we'll get there. I was going to say, that's where we're going.
Have you boys viewed It's a Sin? I want to watch it, not just for 30 seconds of Daleks, but don't feel like being sad at the moment.
I'm kind of the same. I want to tuck in, but I'm not emotionally ready yet.
I didn't watch Years and Years for the same reason. Like,
I watched Years and Years, and I waited a couple months, and then it was
Yeah.
on iPlayer, and it said like it had 2 days left, and I went, right, I'm gonna watch some today and some tomorrow, and then I binged it in one day, and at the end of it felt so cold and changed.
yeah,
In a good way. Like, I'd recommend it. It's fucking incredible. But yeah, I know what you mean. It's a Sin's kind of the same vibe. It's like,
Yeah.
this is going to make me really, really sad. And I don't think that's what I want right now. But, like, put it this way. If it disappeared off 4Player in the next few months and I haven't watched it, I'll buy the DVD so I know I can watch it at some point.
Yeah.
Because I trust that I will be better for having watched it.
Yes. Finally, are you two chaps planning on paying any attention to the new High Republic content? Even if not, I'm still going to force my thoughts about it onto your fine podcast. Hope you had a fantastic birthday, Chris. You're an old man now, and Matt, keep being your usual majestic self. From a man who always dresses for the occasion. James. High Republic, I might fuck with it.
You might fuck with the High Republic.
Fuck with it. Light of the Jedi's out now, so I might pick it up and see what's what.
You gonna fuck with it, huh?
If it's good Star Wars, I'm all for more good Star Wars, please.
Yeah, that's true.
More good Star Wars, please. And then James, of course, follows that up with, well, silly me. I send a mammoth of an email about WandaVision and ask you if you've seen Wonder Woman 84 at the end. Then I pop on your last episode only to find out you're covering it there. So here are my fast opinions.
Ooh.
I'll do them as fast as I can.
Hit me, James.
Love the opening 10 minutes. Cast are great with Chris Pine and the old brown eyes himself, Pedro Pascal, standouts for me. Bit of dodgy stuff here, especially what's going on with Steve's body. That's not necessary at all and just makes the passport stuff and stealing the plane dumb. The armour is really hyped up and gets torn to shreds easily. What? Ooh, some of those effects.
Yeah. Dodgy as sin, aka Wonder Woman saving mannequins.
Favourite aspect, you ask? The music. By far my favourite part, and I love to listen to the opening 3 tracks while I run before I pop you guys on in my ear chasms. So, as I've heard some say, Wonder Woman 84 is good. But it could be better.
Yeah.
From James, still dressed for the occasion. And, of course, signs it off with a lovely pic of old brown eyes himself, Pedro Pascal, saying, life is good. But it could be better.
It could be better.
I fucking love that. I do love that scene where he's just doing that to everyone in the office.
Mm-hmm. It's become a meme. It's already become a meme. Will it last? Let's see.
Will it blend? That meme
will it blend?
that
Will it
meme will
fucking blend? Oh my god. Will it blend?
They're still making those videos, you know.
I dread to think why. Oh yeah, money. They make money.
Inquiring minds want to know: will it blend?
Will it blend? The answer is maybe.
Life is blend, but it could be blender.
Get out. Get out. That is dreadful and brilliant at the same time, and you should be ashamed and proud.
Well, if you want to send us some missives to be read out and either mocked or chortled at, then you can do so at bigdamcontact@gmail.com. Of course, you can hit us up at BigDamnCast on Twitter and watch our sort of but not quite regular streams on twitch.tv/BigDamnStream. And I hate doing this, but I kind of have to because Chris will do it if I don't. If you do fancy supporting us in any way possible, then you can also do that at patreon.com/BigDamnCast. Chuck a buck or two to help us keep the lights on. That's it for this week. Thanks for joining us. And yeah, that's. I don't have an ending. I don't have an outro.
Regenerate.
It just stops.
Regenerate. People want a regeneration. Just regenerate.
Christopher.
Yeah.
Do you think the show will get better if just I leave, or if we both leave?
I think if we both leave, it will get better. To be honest. Good places. Email in.
Rupert Grint.